Vasistha continued. Immediately after death, the state in which it may be said that one is neither here nor there, when the consciousness, as it were, slightly opens the eyes, though it seems not to do so, that state is known as Pradhana, or the material or inert state of consciousness. It is also known as ethereal nature, unmanifest nature, and it is regarded both as sentient and insentient. It is that which is responsible both for memory and its absence, and therefore for the next birth. So here we've got it about what happens when we die. Quite an interesting topic. And I think it's something which a lot of us in the West have very difficult to be rational about. You know, the idea that nothing happens, is that rational? You know, in this age of recycling, doesn't everything get recycled? Even the material aspect of the body. You know, when the body gets cremated, the certain parts of it evaporate. The liquid parts, the bones get turned to ash, the ash gets scattered. It's not that the body's disappeared, it's just been decomposed in one form, or one fashion or another. But that's not what we are. We're not our body. The body's changing all the time. You know, we've got a sense of ourselves. We've got feelings. We've got emotions. Can't these things be recycled as well? Do they just stop? They seem to just stop, don't they? But why can't the component parts of our psyche be recycled? We've got this inner life going on. We've got this our psychology. You could argue even that maybe that psychology gets recycled in the genetic makeup. You know, our genetic makeup is dependent to a significant extent on our DNA, if you like, on our genes. Social environments, they're changing, they're developing. They're recycling, if you want. Although maybe that doesn't really work to talk about them as recycling. Although ideas can certainly get recycled. So the idea that something comes to an end, finish, end of story, full stop, is not actually something, it's not actually, there's nothing in our experience to bear that out. And yet we assume that as far as we're concerned, that's what happens. We come to a full stop. There's no such things as full stops, actually. Everything carries on, everything continues. But that doesn't mean to say we have to subscribe to some simplistic notion of reincarnation, whereby an immortal soul incarnates and, you know, from time to time, or I think in the Christian tradition you incarnate once, although people seem to think that Jesus was an incarnation of Elisha or John the Baptist. You know, the notion of reincarnation was obviously there in early Christian times. So no, we don't need to subscribe to that notion of reincarnation, but let's just not be simplistic about assuming that it comes to a full stop. Doesn't mean to say we've got to believe in other things. I'm just having a go at the belief in the full stop in terms of our psyche. I mean, it's interesting food for speculation. Well, if something is recycled, what is it that gets recycled? It might actually be nothing. You know, when you light one candle with the flame of another candle, you've created a new flame, but what's actually being transmitted? What material element is being transmitted from the first candle to the second candle? Transmission is going on. But then, we have this simplistic materialist way of thinking, don't we? We seem to think it must be something going from there to there. But again, that's not how nature works. Imagine you're standing on the seashore watching the waves coming crashing in. You see the waves appearing in the distance and you follow it until it crashes onto the shore. Now, do you actually believe something is coming from over there to the shore? There is no material substance doing that. A wave is made up of water particles. Do you think that the water over there is actually crashing, coming from way over there and crashing onto the shore? It's not. Water hardly moves. You can get an idea of what I'm talking about if you place a cork on a bowl of water and you make a puddle. The cork tends to move up and down, doesn't it? And that's what the water is actually doing. If you think of the little water particles, they're moving up and down, or actually in a water wave they're actually making a little circle, little clockwise circle. They're not going anywhere. Water particles don't really go anywhere, they just move in a little circle. And the deeper you go down, the smaller the circles. Nothing is moving from over there to the shore. And it's an illusion. And I mean, this is the physics of it, if you want to check up on it. The wave, we say the wave is crashing on the shore. The wave is only a pattern. It's got no physical reality. And yet, it's a very strong force, isn't it? You can put a surfer on it and it will carry that surfer. The wave can sink a ship. It's a very powerful force, but it has no material reality. And if you believe in facts, that is a fact. That is a scientific fact. There is nothing moving from out there to over here. All the water is doing is making little circles, and we're getting this force transmitted from over there to here. So nothing, if waves can do it, why can't the wave of our being do it, if you like? If we can think of our being as a wave, as a combination of forces which have no material reality, and yet, because they've got no material reality, doesn't mean to say we've got to think in terms of some kind of ghostly spiritual reality. It can be purely physical. Physics is not about material reality. It's about forces. Magnetism is a force, but it's got no material appearance. Physics is about forces. And it's quite interesting, we talk about the atom as being mainly empty space, and yet it's the basis of the most powerful energy that we know of, atomic or nuclear energy. So let's be rational about this. It's more rational to believe that something continues after death than it is to believe that it's a full stop. But that's not arguing for the idea of some soul transmigrating from one birth to the other. So let's be quite clear about that too.